If you're planning on selling your instructions either on Rebrickable, or if you have commission clients that you want to create nice looking instructions for, it's really important for you to be able to get the most that you can out of the instruction maker. So today we're going to look at the page design options in Studio to help you create some fabulous looking instructions that you can make available to your clients or the public. So this is a set of instructions I have just recently completed for a client. They are going to be turning this into a kit which will be sold at the museum that is depicted. I've made a few changes to this design according to the client's wishes, so I have to go through and make quite a few changes to the original instructions. So I figured this was an opportune moment to take you through and show you how to use the page design to add pictures into your instructions, or how to manipulate the instructions a bit to make it easier to understand. One thing that's really critical when you are making instructions is to try to make them so that somebody who is completely unfamiliar with building will have no problem understanding how to be able to put your model together. This is a lot trickier than you think. For myself, it's been a constant learning process. I've been making instructions for almost 2 years, and still I'm always learning how to make things easier for people to follow. So we have a few options in the page design tab that we can look at to help us do that. Before I continue, a quick reminder about the Studio Lego Designers Facebook group. This group continues to grow, and there's a lot of great contributions happening from all the members. It is a fantastic, positive group to join and get your questions answered, or offer advice, or show off your works that you've created in Studio. So if you wish to join that community, go on over to Studio Lego Designers Facebook page. The link will be in the description below. As well, for those that don't know, I am a freelance commission Lego designer. So if you have a project you wish to see brought into reality in brick form, then please get in touch with me. Also, I create instructions for other designers, so if you have a design that you wish to have instructions created for it, please get in touch. Thank you so much. So when you start, your instructions are going to be like this. They're not going to have any formatting, and things are just kind of going to be lined up as the program deems it. So we haven't changed any of our camera angles or any settings at this point. The first thing I like to do is change the parts list box so it's a little bit smaller, giving us more room to work on our page. To change all the pages in your document, you're going to go to the global style option. So the format option, the first one, controls the page that you're on. Global style controls all the pages within the instructions. We scroll down to parts list. First we have page, step number, and parts list. We have a few options. We can just turn it completely off. So sometimes if you have a just picture of the model that you want and you don't want it to have any parts list on it at all, you can change the color of the fill, you can change the border, you can make it thicker. You can also round the edges by using the radius option. And our next option is to change the size of the parts list, the scale of it, sorry. So if you want to change that down to 50% or 75%, you can do it through that. Depending on how large the piece is, sometimes I might even go down to 10%, but that will be according to the page, which is where I would use the format option instead of the global style option. In the parts list as well, you can also change your font and the weight of the font, the size and color, etc. You can do a lot of things with the spacing of the text itself. So you can play with those options to make your instructions more personalized. So we have that covered. Now what you're going to want to do in every page is make it so that your parts list isn't interfering with your design at all. And you can see in here, like, there's no way I can move that around where it's not going to be overlapping those parts. What you want to do here is change the scale of the actual page itself. So here we're going to click on change step view, and this is where we can do all the rotations, all the flips, and move our camera around and everything like that. So we'll just play with the rotation first of all, and you can see there's automatic presets for its rotations, or you can enter in the values in the XYZ options. This sometimes is really good, especially if you need to get your model to tilt a bit so that you can see precisely where that part is going to go. Down here we have the scale option, and we are just going to go 50% for the first one. That might be a bit too small, so let's go to 65. That's a little bit better. And as I said before, maybe we'll scale this parts list box down a little bit more, just to give a little bit more room for our plate. Going back to the step view, I just want to finish off showing you the rest of those options. So we have the options for the camera setup, where we can change the tilt of the camera, and we can also do a linear view, either horizontally, or if we flip it, we can go vertically. Sometimes you see this in Lego manuals where you have to see something precisely head on so you know exactly where the part is supposed to go. We're just going to leave this at default right now. So in our next step, we have these parts, but you don't see them on our screen at all. So what we need to do here, they are actually on the bottom. So we're going to have to change step view, flip it and flip it. And now we can see our parts, but you can tell you can't really see very well where those parts go. So you might want to rotate it a bit until you can see it pretty well. And in this one, we can also bump the scale back up for the size of the parts so that we can see better where it goes. One thing, when you have done something like a flip, you can insert a flip icon. If we go to the insert option at the top of the page here, we have a whole list of things that we can do. We can add an image, we can add text, arrows, the flip option as I mentioned, a size guide, color guide, and a bill of materials, which is your parts list. So we want a flip right now, and I'm just going to tuck that up into the corner. So I'm just going to carry through until I look through all the steps and make sure they're aligned how I want them, and make sure that who's ever building this thing can read it properly and easily. Last thing that I ever do in a design is go to the step editor. I add a blank empty step. I go to the page, then I will turn off the step number, and then I'll go and play around with the angle a bit until I find something that makes it look good and it presents well. And then after that, I'm going to go up to the top left-hand side and add a new page. And here is where I will insert the bill of materials. Again, we have a whole host of options that we can change with the bill of materials. We have the fill, the border size, we can change the scale, the typeface, the weight of it, the size and all of these options for changing the spacing of the text. The one thing I usually do is go to scale and change that down to 50 or 60%. And now you see some of the text is running into each other. So I change the text down to 9, and it creates a nice, clean, simple looking font that's easy to read. If you want to add a title page like I do in my instructions, what you can do is right click over here on the left hand side and click new page, and that will put a page ahead of the current page. We are going to insert our image, and you can see it's not fully filling the page, so we can just grab these like you would in any graphics editor and just drag it out to where you want it. The other option is, if you know the exact size you need it to be, you can just go over here and manually enter in the height and the width that you want. If your image still isn't filling your space here, what you can do is change the fill to a background color that will complement your picture. Usually black works pretty good just to act as a border. You can also change the borders on the pages themselves by clicking the border option and selecting a color, and you see that we have this color on the outside now. I've had some issues with this border filling the whole page or just having weird errors, so I generally don't use this option just to make my life a bit easier. I've had it where it's exported perfectly fine one time and exported it the next time and the border's messed up. So I would caution against using that until they have that bug fixed. And also you can put in line separators and things like that if you have multiple steps within a page, and I'm going to show you that next. So let's say, for instance, that you have a bunch of steps that are just one or two parts, and rather than taking up a full page, you could probably get away with a half page or a quarter page. How you're going to handle that is go up to the Change Layout button, click on that, and it's going to give you all of these options for how to lay out your page. So we'll go to quarter for right now, and now we have our pages in quarter panels. So they'll take up much less room on your instructions. This is really important, especially if you're uploading PDFs to Rebrickable or other sites that have a limit on the size of the file that you can upload. Here's where I want to give you another caution. If you have done all of this formatting and you go back into Studio and make some changes in your steps in Studio, and then come back to your page design, you're going to notice that your steps have all shifted, your formatting has shifted, all of these other things that you've done like callouts have been moved around or canceled entirely. So this is because that anything done outside of the instruction maker doesn't necessarily hold over when you go into instruction maker. So if you need to make those changes and you need to add steps or you need to move a part from one step to another, do that within the instruction maker. That only matters if you've done that after you've already formatted your instructions. I've skipped over a lot of things in the format and global style options that you can change. I will let you explore those on your own. The next thing I want to show you in Instruction Maker is how to export your instructions in book format. When I go to export it, you're going to just go down to the pages option instead of the all and go from page 1 to 186 or whatever your range is. Export that as book 1, etc., 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 until you have them all exported as different volumes. So it's really easy to do. There's a few other small things you can do in Instruction Maker, like lock the page so you don't inadvertently change the formatting, or you can change the arrangement and things like that. And you can change the page setup to whatever size page you want, or changing it to landscape or a portrait by clicking this button here, which will reverse the dimensions of the page. So there are lots of options that you can play around with in page design. So I hope this video has helped you out to create instructions that will appeal to your builders more. In the next video, I've been asked to take a look again at Rebrickable and how to take a parts list from Studio all the way to the point where you would order it on Bricklink. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and a few other little hidden gems in Rebrickable that you can use. So I hope you come back for that. Thanks so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. Keep dreaming of bricks. Bye bye.